there. Copies, but I hope that everyone received the minutes. Yeah, we should send those at some point, right?
Yep. Did.
Comments, questions, corrections?
Here's Sarah.
Coming online.
Good.
Mhm. I always worry when there's nobody, it makes me think I have to messed up that link somehow.
You don't care about a typo of your name, please.
My own name?
Yes.
Seriously?
Seriously, just on the back. Under Michelle will follow up, this is under 4C.
Mhm.
The board will be left out on the board weekend and Michael will put away on Monday. But you don't care about it,
Nope,
okay.
but that's hilarious.
Could I move then that we accept these minutes as written?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
So I thought we'd open with like, what are the events that people are participating in or doing or running and how have they gone? And in retrospect, do you think of any synergistic things maybe you should think about for next year?
No conflicts with major events.
Okay.
There were, early June there was one, wasn't there?
Well, and there is, and when you're, in 2 weeks or next week.
What's the conflict?
West Virginia concert, coming concert, you're at home.
North,
But we knew that, and it's, the time of that had been moved a little bit earlier, so.
right, but it's still, I mean, people may choose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think though that we'll never avoid that? Because there are just a finite number of
Well,
weekends.
there were 12 weekends every summer,
Right,
June, July, August.
and there are so many events.
I think we can do the best we can to try to avoid, but you can't always, and I don't know that it's the same audience.
Yeah,
Right,
no,
like,
sure,
it
I'm
would
sure
be
it's very
really
different
not
audiences than used to.
It would not be good for WA to be on the same night as like. WA.
Which was going to be on June the 3rd.
Yes,
So that's why
that
we moved
is
to
the
July
same
22nd.
audience, and that was.
But Judy Black and Phil Wallace have done it a couple of years, it seems to be working out.
I don't know that was on purpose,
And
and
the year before too.
was.
And they drove people up, but right from downtown if they
We
wanted.
did.
Finally do.
But-
I
To take the shot.
I did, which was Kirsten.
Oh.
She's like, where's my ride? I know she's right. But
But
it,
it's a good point though.
it was a lot. I've heard a lot of comments and it was mentioned, at a Judy Black meeting that June was a little packed.
Well, it was all, I think it's also the calendars that are used. I mean, Justin was concerned because he had evidently signed up for the Iron Bank event way early, like in January or February or something like that.
Didn't
He didn't,
the country concert?
yeah.
No, I emailed
But did he
him
reserve
three-
the date?
Emailed him 3 times. to
Okay,
ask him when
all
it
right.
was gonna be.
Oh, Okay,
I did, because.
all right
And
then.
it conflicts with what right now? What are the?
Right now, it's
Some
conflicting
solstice
with the
with
solstice.
autumn and armistice.
Yeah. Right.
But we are also. What Michelle's been reporting to me is that people are already planning for next year, like Godden has already put their June weekend for library luminaries. So everybody should do it. And it's okay, it's so far out, so like, you know, there are only 12 weekends, we should be doing that. I will just have a little mini report of things I've chosen to do. I'm so sad I missed Strategy I could have Blavos or June Black, but they went well, right? They
Yeah.
did weather and everything went well.
They did, so Judy Black had to move inside,
Mm.
but
Awesome.
green, and it was fine, it was great, I mean, the band was great, people enjoyed it, but it, you know, blankets on the grass is so
Yeah.
different than sitting in chairs in
Yeah.
town hall.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it-
we came, it was lovely, but like you said, and the weather, weather held off too, that was the
It was
thing.
very
like,
frustrating.
I know.
It was that you couldn't set up. I
No.
think it stormed right before or right after, like it was just too dicey.
Mhm.
And so it was in the middle of those like intermittent thunderstorm things,
But you
so.
know, having said that, I did an event with my other organization on Sunday, which was 350 people came to
In the
the
thunder.
Music of the Lighthouse, yeah, and I chanced it, and we had little sprinkles for about 5 minutes twice during the hour and a quarter. We put up their umbrellas, nobody left. So I don't think we need to be
And it
too
was well
hasty.
attended.
Yeah, 350
Well,
people,
well,
that's
Well,
extraordinary.
For this event, it was the band, you can't put all your the equipment.
We had
and the
electrics out, we had,
You did.
yes, and they just fucked it all up.
Nice,
We,
yeah.
so we just had a little gap,
Yeah,
and the sound guys, who, we use the same guys that come and do the shag events.
yeah, yeah,
So they just covered, I mean, they're so used to doing open air events, so they just covered everything up.
interesting.
And then we just carried on, and I said to the audience, is everybody cool to continue? And they all went, yeah, so, you know, I don't think we should be too
Now that,
too hasty.
now that Taylor Swift had those 2 shows in Foxborough, Mass, where she was in the rain.
Hey, that was
may-
cool.
Yeah, it may have changed everything, where
Yes,
people
exactly.
are expected to play now.
Well,
Yes.
it's also been so hot, like
Yeah.
everyone's just, a little bit of rain is, it's
Yeah.
nice.
I
I went to First Fridays at, Alton House on Friday, it was awesome. I've never done it before.
I've heard
I'd
that that's-
recommend getting the one
I
in
did
August.
this year, I did one a year or two ago, but.
That was
it's a while,
great.
I should go.
Really great, and then, what else cultural I kind of report on? I'll show you the things I'm involved. The farmer's table is coming up on, Saturday, August 5th. I can tell you even more about it if you don't know about it, but the main, quickly, the whole point of the farmer's table is to heighten awareness about family farms in northwestern Connecticut. Every year they go to a different one. This year it's gonna be Laurel Ridge in, just outside of Litchfield, which you may know because it has this famous veil of daffodils every spring, and we have
Oh, yeah.
photographs taken there or whatever. So they have very picturesque cows. I'm hoping they're gonna be in the pasture adjacent to where the tent will be, but it's a dinner for 220 odd people.
Is it sold out?
Almost.
Oh,
So
it's
buy your
not
tickets.
yet.
Yeah, so buy your tickets.
Last.
Yeah, usually it sells out
Usually it
quickly.
quickly.
We got like, I mean, not many tickets, like literally like maybe 20 or 30 tickets.
And where is it?
It's in Laurel Ridge this year. It's called Laurel Ridge, Wigwam Road and outside of Litchfield.
Yep.
Very picturesque pasture. We're gonna have a hayride, taking you through the most picturesque pastures. Because they are a cattle farm. We're gonna do, every year it's different food, different theme. Our executive chef is Sam Tilley of, Mockingbird, Barn Kitchen, and she's always super inventive and gets like the A team of all the local chefs to help. And they thought it'd be fun to do a carne asada theme, which is like basically meat cooked on site in different ways. So it's gonna be like grilled and in pits and I don't know, cool stuff. And the food's always really good and it's really nice. And the whole point too is like, you don't have to feel like you have to go with the table, like it's actually to encourage people to mingle with farmers. We gift tickets to, at least 20 farmers every year, plus the host farms, so like 25 odd, 26 odd tickets. So that's that, and then I'm really excited about the farmer's table doing a film thing in October, which is far, but just we're gonna be doing Judy Black. And what else is coming up? I'm excited about. There's so many good things. I'm really excited about the current show at WA. You should go. It
Yeah,
really reinvents how you think about figurative art. Go
Yeah.
take it away.
So there are 3 artists, you, I think, were the.
No, I haven't been over to
Okay.
it yet.
So Matthew Lopez and Jackie Lima and Matthew West, I think Michael West are the 3 artists. And on the first and third Friday of the month, we have this
I think,
coffee and
I
conversation.
think that's a great.
And
I mean,
Matt-
Really
it's
brilliant
not
idea.
good, But I think that's a great program.
And Matthew Lopez has been the guest host and talking to groups about his work and showing them, you know, his process and so on. That's been really cool. People have loved that.
Awesome.
So, and
Sad I've missed that. I mean, I've seen the
It's
show,
a
but
work day, but it's brilliant, it's a brilliant idea, and I totally should plan ahead for it, I think it's really smart.
Yeah.
Alright, like, you're getting 20 people, 30 people,
20 people.
that's
Yeah,
good.
That's
what date,
fabulous.
It's first and third Fridays of most
Really
months.
great.
We're not doing this, the first, Friday of August, simply because the new show goes up the next day. So there's everything really up there.
Right.
And it's from 10 till noon. And coffee and pastries on us, so. come.
Awesome.
So that's good, and then this Saturday we have a pop-up art sale, so 10 artists are coming with easels, and then under tents in the garden, they're going to put up their work, and people that want to come by and buy. And, hi, Abby.
Hey.
So that's that, and we have one more goes in August, and then of course we have the Abdo party next weekend, on the 22nd. The Mojito King is that, we were joking actually, because he is the Mojito King and I'm the restroom king. I've been doing lots of restroom trailer research, haven't I?
We are your favorite meeting, you go to a million, we are.
I do go to a million meetings. It's always very fun.
I'm so excited. Last year, I had never been able to go before, and last year was so great. And I love the way you did your promotion. I think we should all learn from each other's promotions, like, this is what's new, this is the
Yeah, that's what it is,
that was
because-
cute.
Well, and the reason that we're called Friendship, the reason is that it's twice as expensive as last year, so we want to say why it is. And what the new things are that people can expect,
that's
because
fair.
some people have said, well, why is it twice, you know, so
Because
what
there's
else?
a sheriff in town.
That was the most expensive ever, I didn't realize that.
75, it's fine.
Everything is expensive.
It is,
Is, I don't know
Everything,
what,
I mean,
rentals have gone
Oh,
up. everything's
restroom
gone
trailers are expensive,
Yeah.
aren't they, out there?
I know, everything has gone up.
Everything's really, really
I
expensive.
look at things at $200, and that was 40 last year.
Yeah, no.
Everything has
I mean,
gone up.
what's amazing to me is when you go to restaurants in LA, they actually say like, there's an extra fee that it's like a bogus fee that I hope you don't notice, but it's really basically just another 10-15%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I sympathize, I'd actually just rather say, I mean, they're scared of putting on their menu what the real prices are. Anyway, yeah, I'm sympathetic, I mean, Farmer's Table, we have two mega tents and they're twice as much,
Oh, wow.
it's from 2 years ago, like last year was like 24% more, now it's like 50% more from 2 years ago, yeah.
Amazing.
It's remarkable.
On the intellectual front, Common Ground with Jane Whitney is gonna be resuming, a new season, August sixth, Sunday.
Yep.
And Fran always provides the books for that, and it's a really great show, and people don't even understand that it's in town, people still think it's called Conversations in the Green,
The Green.
and I don't understand why people don't come. It's super exciting, it's super great, and one thing I think it's probably gonna be an interesting positive thing is that they were streaming it live, for COVID. But now they're not gonna stream it live, they're going to help you have the live experience or later when you can see it on, you know, videos. So I hope that will bring people back to coming to see.
It's moving to Frederick Gunn, right?
Exactly.
Kind of a logo.
Exactly, and it's
Yeah.
actually gonna be moving an hour later, which I think is positive, it's gonna be at 4 o'clock, so that if you get
It's
the
good.
ticket that goes with the Mayflower reception, which they do a great job. You know, it's easy, you just go from there, like 5-ish, and then you should come one of these.
Always
times.
in the
And
middle.
I'll make sure that you can get a ticket if you can get.
Is Jane doing it?
Yeah,
It's Common Ground with Jane Whitney. She's definitely doing it.
Yeah,
Jane is.
she's such a pro.
She is, yeah.
Well, most people don't realize.
Like she is,
She
Leslie
did it,
Stahl generation, and Diane Sawyer, she's excellent.
she did it on
Excellent.
television herself. I mean, she was,
She's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's like, she does her homework, it's unbelievable, with like a skeleton crew of volunteer researchers. I mean, like, the level of show that she does, and like her guests constantly talk about this unsolicited. Like, you know, they're on these shows all the time. Like, her level of fluency with the issues that are not necessarily even her pet issues is incredible. So just even to see, I don't know, if you have young people in your life who wanna see how the sausage is made, it's just cool to see how TV is made. When I was a kid and through my twenties and thirties, I went to every single TV show I ever could in New York and go to these things for free, you just put it into a lottery and you get to go. I think it's really instructive, so I'd like to, I'm mentioning this because like, I know the gun school, of course, is gonna have lots of kids coming, but. We keep on trying to do outreach to Chicago, Mogo, et cetera, and we're just not succeeding.
When it was at Chicago, they had, they gave a
Mogo
bunch of
did not.
tickets. They gave a bunch of tickets to kids,
We
and it
always,
was fantastic.
we'll always give free tickets,
So I went to.
okay,
a
that's a
couple.
side conversation, I don't wanna dominate, but I
Yeah.
would just really want you to know that we really want to. It's like civics education, we want them to get excited about this and understand the
And-
issues better.
And we're doing quite a few, right? Like back to back to back, like every,
Yeah, it's like every 3 weeks, like two
Right.
a month for a
Yeah.
bunch of months, but brutal for the other person. It's.
meeting them all. Do you want some?
Yeah, and then the ambition, I mean, they wanna raise 2 million for this year, the ambition is to get up to 10 million, I don't know what the gap is, I'm not the math person, but. Bottom line is like, once we have that, then they'll be able to afford the infrastructure to do a weekly. You need like, there's like that turning point where you like exponentially more people
Mhm.
to do a weekly thing. But I think, and when it goes weekly. It will, the show will change, the form will slightly change, but I think it would be really good, not only for. I think it's quality programming, and more PBS stations are picking it up, so it's not just me talking. I think we're in over like 50, maybe even 75 stations, 70% of PBS stations nationwide.
That's great.
And they want, it's this funny thing too, just like to understand this also just made too, like these things, like. It's harder for a station to put a monthly show, that's why we're doing like twice a month. If we had a weekly show, it'd be easier for them to slot into their programming.
Right,
So if we could get to that mountain, then we'd be like really golden and then all sponsors, et cetera, so like it's that. You know, whatever analogy you like, you know, getting to cruising velocity is that really heavy lifting, but once we get there, then it will be really easy.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anyway, so
May I talk about the Labor Day weekend? Should we talk about Labor Day weekend? Ben, I think you're planning a book signing with Alan Shane, aren't you?
Oh, yes, yes.
On September second.
I can't remember whether it's Saturday or Sunday, right? Whichever day you're not having the dedication.
We're doing it on the third,
Okay,
Sunday.
okay, so we're
that's when
doing it
you're
on
gonna
the
open up your
second.
new church?
So Fran is doing a massive book signing with Alan Shane, aren't you? The
Absolutely.
Diary of an Actor.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Do you know the time of that yet?
It's probably at
Shane,
3
Alan Shane,
And Norman,
Norman Sunshine's partner.
Are you
Alan
putting a cover on the cover?
No,
do we have the cover? Are we blowing up the cover? Is that what you're at?
stop, Abdo. The cover is.
Are you putting
is
a
very
cover on the
scared.
cover?
Oh, yeah,
How
I didn't
exciting.
understand if you said, are you covering the cover?
Well,
And
he
I'm like,
needs-
what?
No, we're not.
I'm not
It's right
familiar
under
with
the
this
table.
Well, there you
I'll
go.
bring in my copy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so enamored with the cover, I haven't even opened the book yet.
All you
But-
have to do is walking to Hickory Stick and it's on the front table.
So,
Alright.
yeah, what time is the book signing? 3 o'clock.
Is it September 2nd?
If that's what the Saturday is,
Right.
yes.
All
It
right.
is. And then on the third, from 2 to 4, we have a ribbon cutting of the Norman Sunshine Centre, which is
Is that what it's gonna be
it's gonna
called?
be called the Norman Sunshine
great.
Centre. Yeah, across the street, which is the Trinity Lutheran Church. Just over the brook on the right hand side on the corner of School Street.
Maybe.
So Norman has given that to our organisation.
Right over here.
Right.
Right
Over there.
Oh,
So you
yeah.
know, I go up the dueling churches, if you go up the hill, there are 2 of them,
Yeah.
Yeah,
very similar, and they got the pretty one on the right.
That was, I think, what I wanted to ask
Oh.
about, but not now.
Just, okay,
Yes,
we'll go offline,
yes.
but we're excited about that, and that's a community event that anybody wants to come to.
Okay,
So we'll
And
have to
what
think,
time?
2 to 4, so this build email list for announcements, that's gonna be kind of.
It's on the third.
Yes,
So
September,
there-
Sunday the 3rd.
Sunday, the third, right.
And what are your plans for it?
We're just, I mean, Norman will be there, there'll be his.
No, I don't mean the
Oh,
event, I mean
sorry.
subsequently.
Space.
Oh, it's it to be.
How are you gonna use the
It's
space?
gonna just be another space for us to hold meetings, events, lectures, concerts.
Okay,
And when we start doing our building, more about that later, that'll be a space for us
to move
to
it,
move things
yeah.
over there for classes and what have you.
Nice. All right,
Oh,
so,
are you gonna put it in?
no, I'm just checking to see if it's there.
No, not yet, because we haven't really
Okay,
talked about it, but I will,
get it up there.
I will, yes, ma'am.
The church across the street, is somebody living there?
Yeah, that's a
Yes,
residence.
it's a residence.
Are you gonna buy that? Are you gonna
I
make
just,
an
I
offer?
still like wanna do my Imaginarium in town.
It was on the market, it's not in a commercial zone and it has no parking, so there's some challenges, but.
Does Alan Shane live around here? Does he?
They did, they both lived here.
Okay,
Their, primary, I mean, they sold their house in Washington,
okay.
last year. And their primary residence is Palm Beach.
But they are trying to, they're looking for another.
Are they
5
good?
years.
Well, I can't imagine that they wanna stay all the time. And I mean, I know they're in New York, for the summer, but I can't imagine that they wanna be in Florida at this point.
Especially with hot water,
Right.
literally.
Yeah, yeah.
So
There
Alan,
were-
I think,
and-
was the
Ron
president
DeSantis.
of,
You're a
what,
native artist.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Paramount
just-
Pictures as well.
Gosh, I recognize, I don't know why I don't know
Yeah.
his name.
Yeah,
Not to speak of the governor of Florida.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, if I would wanna be a non-binary, you know, a non-binary person. Anyway.
anyway,
Anyway,
so we're excited about.
Yeah.
I'd really like to talk to you about how we can support your book signing and
Okay.
try to get people
Okay.
there, so that people see it as a weekend. Of fun.
Yeah.
And,
The whole future.
and as long as I can make arrangements, we'll have Norman's book too. I mean,
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
wonderful, that's
Thanks.
really cool,
Yeah.
that's really fun,
Exciting.
that's a great thing, I'll have to make, yeah. So get on your marketing.
Yes, ma'am.
But Saturday's gonna be.
Just realizing that
Saturday's be your.
right, Saturday will be the book signing.
the next newsletter, the next town newsletter. I don't have my publishing schedule in front of me, let me get the calendar. Because it's September, it's for September,
Yeah, it's coming up, I would imagine.
so. Um,
Vacation,
no.
what's that?
so the goal should be to be in the mailboxes by September 1st or 2nd, you know, we would go in the mailboxes that week, so. Make sure you've got something maybe ready, like maybe. I usually puts in an article, Hebrew Stick doesn't necessarily, but you include that event
Sure.
in the
They
sort of,
could-
We will.
yeah, like
Convention,
that would be
yeah.
really cool.
Yeah,
I'll make sure
Um,
that you see it first. You know,
The deadlines are
well, we could
probably,
send you a paragraph. to
Yeah,
include
that'd be
in
great.
yours.
That'd be great.
probably about the second week of August,
All right.
so I guess when we adjourn tonight, I'll go upstairs and listen to my. Newsletter. Okay. I don't know where this one has
And
gone.
that, was that Explore Washington you were just on?
It was,
Yeah. so
did
we'll
you
make
wanna
sure
see
that's
it?
in. No, thanks, we'll just,
okay,
put it in
this
there.
was checked,
Ginger does that.
yeah.
And you got, like, Ginger is, decided to retire, right?
Yes.
So are you getting applications?
We are.
So do you have somebody already?
No, she leaves 1st of September,
Okay,
so we will appoint September 5th, which is the day after Labor Day.
okay.
So we're hoping that the Norman Allen weekend won't be eclipsed by the Ginger retirement weekend.
Well, actually, it reminds me of something else. We are desperate at the farmer's table to get a really good admin, ideally somebody with some. Who's not phobic about doing some light Canva, you know, like graphic design type stuff, whatever, we'll pay them fees, you know, fairly. And it's kind of a perfect job for somebody outside, it doesn't have to be like even business availability hours. You have to be after hours and weekends, so if anybody knows somebody or even a responsible, you know, college student, whatever. That'd be great. Somebody the person we want is ideally somebody who could work year round. And just,
Okay.
I love that you brought that up.
oh, awesome. Oh my God, we're so grateful.
Is great, because this is something, and I think we've talked about at Arts Council, but maybe it was at EDC or some other meeting. But there's so many small nonprofits in town that need similar kinds of work, and the library was looking for social media work and we've
Yes.
got somebody at Judy Black who's part-time and would love more hours. So the,
Oh, okay, yeah, this,
right, so by
When I was
maybe
living-
piecing together,
Yes.
somebody
we
who
could have
knows.
arts administration put it on for the town. I mean, like in Hudson, there was one woman who was 25 years old, who did the newsletters for, like, in Hudson, there's a gallery strip.
That could
Like,
make
she
a
did the
very nice
newsletters
job for someone.
And part-time work for basically every gallery in some way, and it was a win-win for everybody, and also she helped everybody. It was
Yeah.
like, you know, people think like, oh, they can
Yeah,
like
and I'm
afford
trying
that
to
work, but no, it was actually mutually
Yeah,
beneficial.
no,
People
that would
initially
be a
were like
great job
skeptical,
for
it
someone.
worked great,
Yeah,
yeah.
doesn't, I'm trying to think, Lauren is like whack and something else.
She's really busy, and she's a mom.
Yeah,
and
I know, but
she's-
it's just
you know,
like,
she's
there's
great, but
models
she's
of this,
very
of
good
like
teaching.
sharing, because once
Yeah.
you get the job and you know the drill,
Yes,
it's.
it's so similar.
Right,
it's
because
so-
you're posting events like in all the same places. Once you kind of know the players,
Yes.
it's easier to wear multiple represent multiple organizations because you know your audience, right?
Yes.
So, so yes, so I think coming to the Arts Council is great. So if anybody else knows of somebody needing that kind of help, or somebody, like maybe Watt has somebody that's part-time that would love to pick up 5 hours a week, 10 hours a
Right.
week, it's hard to piece that all together.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that's great.
Cool. And then one other thing that's come up, courtesy of Denise of, Steve Frost, Judea Gardens, is like, oh, I want the Arts Council mailing list. I'm like, I'm so flattered that you think we have one already. I don't. To blast about our photography contest and all these other cool, fun and creative things they're doing, like, I haven't done reading and wine yet, but that sounds
Oh,
like my
I
kind of
think it's
thing.
Wednesday, reading and wine.
But anyway, this does raise the issue of like, and we were talking about it earlier this week, that we would be the only committee with our own list, but I think it's important that we do, and that's something that we'd like to add a clipboard, right? For now, just low tech to our sandwich board on the weekends, or at least,
Oh.
we talked about like maybe our QR code or something.
Yeah.
So that when we're sitting out in front of, we did get permission from George to be in front of the gold and silver space. So we're kind of between the market and, because I did sit last weekend on the. Felt like such a silly person, nobody stops, they wave when we're driving out, but nobody stops at the pub, which is.
Oh,
fine.
okay, you were on the
Like,
corner.
you were right at it, or the turn, you were right, like, this is the worst spot. So, yeah, we need to be over there, but all to say is that we would like to start contributing and, to a list and having a database. And eventually we might be able to have our own like sub database, within the MailChimp or whatever the town uses. So, so anyway, if you have some people that you think would specifically be interested in what we're doing or want to come to our events. We're having our first event in September, but you may come to our meetings or just,
And
Yeah.
could that be part of our report for the town newsletter
yeah,
to sign up?
oh, that's a good idea. That's a
Oh,
really good
that's a
idea.
great idea.
Yes,
So. When I'm finished with this grant and when I get back, I'll talk to Mandy and we'll look at the tech part of this, setting
Yeah.
up the MailChimp account,
Mhm.
getting a sign up on the website and creating a QR code to bring people to it. So just the like mechanics.
Yeah.
And then we can then, by the next meeting, figure out how to push that out and
Yes.
get people on that. And we can, I'm a little hesitant to just throw people on it, but
No,
we
we
can
should-
ask permission of friends of.
We have
Arts
to double
Council.
about them because then our things always go to spam. I mean, I've heard that from many other
Yeah.
organizations we've been part of. So yeah, I mean, like we will write each individual person a nice note, like this is what we're doing, and do you please take a moment to double subscribe so that our list will be good.
Yeah, so, I will.
Because I think that the town does a great job with their massive newsletter, but I often don't make it to the end. And so I like, as we are anticipating our October photography exhibit, and I just want to be able to, people to find us, know what we're doing. So I think it's important. So now the fun part, right? Moving along, is everybody good, updates, et cetera? Any other updates? The theater exchange thing you were telling me about.
Yeah.
It's just wrapped up or it's currently.
It did, so, yeah, so
Was it open to the public and I was oblivious?
it was,
Oh,
but it was also, the marketing was, we were real minimal. We just got our 501(c)(3) status. So Tracy and I launched Connecticut Theater Exchange. It was June 12th to the 23rd.
Oh,
So in-house up at Frederick Gunn, we workshopped 2 plays, a new musical, a pilot script, as well as a one-person show. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we had a company out of New York City called Neutral Chaos. And they are a stage combat company for stage and screen. And they were in residence and they had 14 actors certified in stage combat and 3 to 5 weapons over those. You have to do 60 hours of weapon training, and then they have to bring in a fight master for their testing and everything like that. So that was great. It was really, really successful and really fun. So next year, yeah, so we're already looking at having a fall reading of something. Our main focus will be that 2 weeks in June every year, and the exchange idea is to bring actors, playwrights, directors in residence and allow them to workshop on something, have a closed reading and open reading. We're hoping to connect and build relationships with professional theater companies as well, who might, the nice thing is all these companies, they can come up and they can be in residence. We can have them in the dormitory. We can work with our dining hall. It's a retreat, yeah.
so cool.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my God,
really,
that's one man show,
really
so
great.
I'll be completely overtly honest,
That's-
can he apply?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. That would be like a perfect example of that, right? And the idea of the exchange title is that we want these people all interacting and connecting, that, somebody might be up there for like stage combat and then like, oh, I could be an actor in a reading, or I could go see something. And then next thing I know is like, oh, I know that. I know a couple other
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
right? Or that they the exchange starts to happen. And yeah, it went really, really well. We had, it went really well. And I think next year we'll have more programming and everything. We are looking to do a fall reading of a workshop, and then hopefully looking to do in December, kind of a gala event, so that we start to, a little more notoriety, raise some money. We're applying for some grants right now through Northwest Council for the Arts, which is Great Arts Council. Tracy's finishing a grant tonight, actually. So we've been doing that. So fingers crossed. We're really excited.
So
Yeah,
now I didn't really understand what it was.
Yep,
But now
no.
I feel like I get it a
Yeah.
little more. Were there things for the public to come to or no?
yes, there was. There was a reading of a new musical, a reading of a play.
That you guys opened up?
Yeah, right, and
Right.
both the playwright and the writer of the book are both New York based. This one writer has he's got some buzz on a different play that he's workshopping, or that might happen. It's in the midst of talk of a big off-Broadway premiere, but you know how that is. It's,
Yeah.
it might happen and it might not.
Might not,
Right,
yeah.
So, but it's really exciting, and we're open to plays in progress, as well as pilot scripts, screenplays, any place that we're looking to cultivate a space that people can come for 2-3 days. And also a writer's retreat. We'd love it if we could have it as a writer's retreat. Be a great place for somebody who has some professional development funds, or is a professor on a university or college level, who, is giving some money through their university, a playwright. A lot of the playwrights are teachers, educators on the university college level. So we're really open to anything, and we're connecting already with a lot of people, and we're excited. Yeah, so
That's great.
Awesome.
And-
Yeah.
And for next year, we'll help try to get that
That would be
word
great.
out on the things that we.
Yeah.
can
We'll be able to
do.
blast with it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, and we, so,
Was it on Explore?
I don't think it was, I
Yeah.
don't think
I
it
don't
was,
think It was, and I
Yeah.
don't think I understood, it's like somehow I saw something,
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, we literally got our
It's like
501c3 like a week before,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was partially on my radar.
right, yep,
And then I knew it was happening, I saw Tracy, like, I think we were working the board.
on the
one-
board, yeah,
Yeah, or
Yep.
we're gonna music on the
Right.
green and she's like, I'm gonna up, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So, Yeah.
so, yeah, next year, no, it'll be
Cool
great.
learning.
Yeah, and like I said, we wanna do a couple of offshoots within the year, but the main focus is that June
Yeah,
time where school up at Frederick Gunn is, all the students are gone. There's this little window of time after alumni weekend,
for the.
you know, yeah, and a lot of people coming up from, if it's New York City or from the Berkshires or, especially, or from cities, you know, they get like a single dorm room, it's no frills, but it's decent, good food, and you have this really lovely area. And it is like a retreat,
Yeah,
you
it's a
know, and
colony.
it is, and you know, when you
Yeah.
don't, when you can leave your stuff in the space that you are, you don't have to lock up and you don't have to break things down and then bring it back and like. That's the thing, especially for a theater company in New York City, right?
It's Norman Rockwell though.
It, absolutely,
Wonderful.
absolutely. So, yeah, we're really, really excited about it, and it's not, we're looking to provide opportunities for people. And cultivate, opportunities for people, it's not, a self-indulgent. Like, hey, we get to act, or I've got a play I want people to work on, we haven't done any of that,
You
so.
haven't done your own work yet?
We haven't, we were part of a reading, I directed one of the readings, Tracy directed one of the readings that we workshopped for 2 days, but. Nope, nothing that we're really looking to do, I mean, I'd love to be part of some readings and everything like that, but. Providing opportunities for artists and for playwrights, and we had a really great pilot script written by. A colleague of ours who was like, could I come up for a day and get 4 people to come up with me, and we were like, great, and it was really, really good.
For an original show?
Yeah, but,
Awesome.
yeah, so we'll see, you know, a lot of stuff, so yeah, thank you, yeah, so we're excited, and,
Next year we'll understand better.
yeah, and a lot of things that we're looking at, of course, like we get all excited about a grant, and then we're like, oh, it has to be 3 years, you have to have had 3 years,
Okay,
you know,
okay.
and so, but anyways,
You're on your way.
we're on our way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yep, one down, exactly, so thank you for asking.
Well, I have a friend who is an actor, but now he's not acting, but they live here in New York, he and his partner. So he volunteered for the Fantastic.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, Robert Fama,
okay,
and he's looking for something to do here in the community.
okay,
So I'm going to mention it. to
yeah,
him,
please do.
Because
please
they did Broadway,
Yeah.
you know.
Connecticut
But-
Theater Exchange,
So I asked
CTX.
him, how was your experience? I went to see it, by the
Yep.
way. And he said, it was so wonderful. I want to keep doing it locally, you know, while they're here in the,
Yep.
in the country, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, so there are a lot of people in this town who have had the experience.
Yeah,
That you can make use of.
that would
you
be
know.
great,
Yeah.
have them,
Have you explored people that are being sort of showcased at the O'Neill Theatre?
well, we were gonna go over last night to an event over there, we got. Both of us are teaching right now at Hotchkiss for the summer, for our summer program, and we were just too tired,
Yeah,
but we've been meaning to get over to the O'Neill.
yeah, you might find new sort of playwrights there who would really, who you would love and they would love to come up.
I think so too,
And also, what about the Merrill House?
I don't know.
James Merrill?
Yeah, Stonington has
Oh, yeah?
he lived there.
Yeah.
So the house in which he lived has been turned, is now a non-profit. And every year they host new playwrights there and they become part of the community. But again, I'm thinking of people who might then like to come over here.
Great,
Oh, and also, you probably know about this, but, the Miller Foundation. And, you know, they're relocating his, writing shack to somewhere in Roxbury,
Hopefully the library.
hopefully the library. But it would be such an organic thing to
Yeah.
have something from Miller, is known in the area. they're sponsoring playwrights and doing cool stuff, so, I mean, Ready Made, some really great talent, I mean, it seems like
Yeah.
they're pretty established.
When are they looking to do that, or when are they looking to make that change over to the library?
Well, they have to raise the funds to.
It's parked
to
behind the town hall, I read something
Yeah.
like 3 days ago in the DAP about it.
I mean, his daughter purchased, she
It's
purchased,
pledged $1 million towards it, I think,
right,
because of the
but-
sale of the house.
but there has to be money to, sustain a foundation.
Okay.
Relationship to it, and
Yep.
that's what they're trying to raise at this point, but I think it's on the library grants.
But the foundation also operates completely independent of this, there's another foundation, it's not just all about that little writing check.
Right, right,
So my point is, they've already got a running start for you,
Okay,
they're already, I just, cause I got excited about
do
this.
you know Davine Verstander?
say that
Do
again?
you know Davine Verstander?
No,
Okay, do you know Julia Bolus?
I do not.
Okay,
Davine would be a good person to. meet.
Davine has been
I'll
involved
introduce you.
with the Arthur Miller,
Yeah. You should by email,
Great, that would be
just say
lovely.
you two
Yeah,
should know each other.
okay. You can include Tracy on that if you want,
Okay,
that
cool.
would be great.
And also, I'm just thinking that I mean, in Norfolk. And Yale is a long-standing, the whole arts thing, so maybe there may be, a natural affinity, it's only 75 minutes away. That maybe their MFA program would love to have this,
So, right. Well, and that's the nice thing about what we're trying to do is that it allows them to be in residence to do something, right? So that they can have a little more time working on something and they can show. So this is at the Barrels House?
Yeah. So that might be worth. Kind of.
Okay, this is lovely. All right, thank you all. This is
You bet.
great, thanks.
That's why we have an
That's
arts,
why we
an
have
arts
a-
council.
So great. I love it.
everyone wants to see pictures of this. 13-sided house or architecture, about bonkers for this.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on in professional matter, the most exciting part of the year.
Pretty exciting. I was having printer issues, but we got some logos. So you shared. I did make 2 copies of this
yeah,
one.
nice.
I only printed one of the 3, the other was just like black and white, and then,
So I'm gonna pass these around. Oh, excuse me, 4, we have 4 options.
yeah. I did the explanatory on this.
And how do you want to deal with it?
Well, one of our submissions is from a council member, so.
Oh.
Abdo did the Robin.
Oh.
Robin Power. I just had 2 chicks fly away.
Oh.
They come every year right outside my door and they nest there.
I have a nesting pair.
And I can't use the back door because I'll disturb them and I'm all like watching them, make sure that they're okay, you know.
So you
It's
want
too
to-
dramatic, it's too dramatic, yeah. No, but it was so cute. The last one, I'm looking, that his brother fled. And the other one is just thinking about, it. He's like, this,
Okay,
thinking about.
And
it.
you know that it's
I spent a whole
brother versus
afternoon.
sister.
I spent a whole afternoon once, cause I get a nest on my front door every
Yes.
year. And I watched,
Yeah.
one flew away and the rest of the family was calling, sitting in the bush, and
Yeah.
other just was standing on the edge for like 2 hours, not wanting to fly. I had to go leave and then I came home and it was gone.
We're taking ballet class in New York, and New York at this time, like, there's not central heating, there's not central air conditioning. And my bar spot was right above the window where there was an air conditioner, wall unit, where there's. A little bird's nest, and I see little pigeons, and I like, apparently pigeons are more protective than most parents, you never get to see the baby. It was very amazing. All right, logos, so.
Thank you, Ben. Oh, never
Be
mind.
efficient with my time.
Yeah,
All right, so how are we gonna do this to not, to do this properly? I mean, we could do it by, I guess, a doodle poll, we could do it,
I think that's a very good idea,
okay,
to
just
do
do
it
that.
that way,
I do it
Okay.
full?
Yeah.
Okay.
because our friend Abdo is here and we just so, awkward.
I'd be so depressed.
And also there's some-
Yeah, I think,
But I do wanna do that like tomorrow, I'd love it to go into August, knowing, because I would love to, and, you know, I want by September to be able to promote our October event, and I wanna be, you know.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if we shouldn't extend it, maybe have more options, you know? I don't know,
I don't know, it's been running in the selectmen's email
yeah,
for a long
I
time.
think other graphic designers don't like to be on page.
Yeah, and I sent it to a couple that I've worked with in town that have done projects for me.
yeah,
Neither of which they have had time. You know,
Yeah,
they've been working
yeah,
on other
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
They said, oh, thank you for letting me know. I'll see if I can get to it. And I haven't,
yes,
they aren't either of these.
yes.
And I'm actually really impressed with what we got.
You know, a month
Say.
ago, we didn't have anything.
So,
Right, so
so-
I think 4 choices is not bad. I'm the
I
kind of
don't,
person who
in a
doesn't
way,
want too many
like, I
choices.
think, you know. The options that we have, like, I actually hate soliciting harder and
Yeah.
getting more professionals to
it's-
expend their energies. I think that we kind of have a nice range. And I don't blame you, like, part of me is like curious and I'd love to see more,
Yeah.
but I just think that asking, you know, professionals to. Give their time for nothing,
So for the poll,
for a good price,
we wouldn't see each other's photos.
I can't remember how the
Could there be
dual
a way
settings are,
not to
yeah, to make
do
it
that?
anonymous,
Right.
yeah.
And then
But
people,
If nothing else, you
I've
know,
never
we could have
done
somebody,
something that was anonymous, but
Well,
you
we
could
could-
probably a survey monkey that would be anonymous.
we'll figure it out, you know, figure it out, or we can have like Amanda be the recipient or something like that. Yeah,
okay,
so we'll figure it out.
Because I'm
Okay.
not.
are you finished with it?
I think it would be nice to see what other people are doing, but anonymously.
Yes,
I
You
mean,
mean-
More submissions,
no, I'm talking about in the vote, in the poll.
oh,
I mean. You know,
I think, what,
no, I would just like to have a sense, but I agree that it should be some way to be anonymous.
Okay.
And maybe each of us is assigned a letter that's our name instead
that's a
of,
Yeah,
good idea.
I get that,
and,
which
and-
really
and-
wouldn't be that, we don't even have to set up if there's not that many.
Yeah,
I think it's just all, I
Right.
can make a spreadsheet. so.
and one of you could send out the letters so that nobody even knows any letter but their own.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so-
a good idea.
So we
That's a
can do
very
that,
good
we can do that.
Yeah,
So just a couple things, though, if you didn't have a chance, do read up, there was a whole like, logic to
It's very
this.
good, isn't
It
it?
was very sophisticated and thought out, so there's this whole idea of a circle and a square and a triangle, and so that was an inclusivity kind of idea.
The only,
And then one other thing, guys, when you think about these, none of these colors are locked in, so it's really, try to think, programmatically, like about the format and how, and the thing I care about always nowadays, because people are looking at things on their phones and on their screens, like it has to look good at every scale.
Right.
So that should be, I think, as you vote, is something you should be thinking about.
Right.
So,
I thought that was, it's the only thing about, I like the art part of it, but it's kind of deciphering what is this?
yeah, I mean, I love the intellectual side.
Yeah.
But I don't wanna lead anybody, I mean.
No,
everybody's got their own-
no,
everybody's
no,
very
no,
sophisticated. I don't, you don't
yeah.
need my commentary, I just wanna make sure you
Yeah.
understood that there was,
Yeah,
you know, an
yeah.
explanation, so just please go through the screens
You
of
said-
that.
you
I
said
did,
it.
Yes.
the PDF, that one was all in one place,
Yeah.
this one had 3 to explain this. As you can see, it's an an A and a C.
Yeah, yeah.
And then did you want us to add anything here for the record about?
Well, the robin is the state bird. And I thought that's why I chose the robin, you know, and I mean, that looks too big and all of that,
That's
but
fine.
it could be a small thing, but you know.
do you have that,
It's-
I don't have a digital copy,
Is
so
you
I could share it with
like
everybody?
a PDF?
Like,
Oh.
did you make it on a computer?
Yes,
Can
Okay,
you
so
send it to me can you email it?
Or
to me?
JPEG,
Yeah,
any format.
yeah, okay,
Cool,
And then,
that'd be great.
as this artist illustrated, this, you know, can be on the background of white or black, or we could change these colors, they could be all, if we wanna do all like red, white, and blue, or I don't, just to really again.
I
think-
don't like whack, and we have the wah and whack, and you know, it sounds like a duck.
But anyway,
Yeah,
we can have side commentary in your votes, I guess, or you can, or, I mean, actually, I guess if you're supposed to say any meta commentary about what.
Yeah,
If there's somebody who's really upset that none of these they think are remotely good, I mean, we could extend it, I guess, but
No, I don't agree with
I
that.
think that we have.
I
So
think-
strong
I think
submissions.
one thing that might be useful just to talk about really quickly is just to like how everyone is envisioning it being used so that we can understand, because we've talked about a t-shirt or canvas bag, we've talked about letterhead. I don't remember if we talked about like a magnet or something. We
Yeah.
wanted it for a flyer, a handout to say who we
Also,
are.
like, little business cards, I think would be useful.
Sure.
Invitations to our events, you know,
Yeah.
we'll be having events this week.
Yeah, any printed
Right.
materials.
Yeah.
Materials, you know, t-shirts, I'm thinking, canvas is lovely, but I actually really like those folding nylon market bags, so I think those are really great.
that's what I thought if we had more, because basically this is going to be our permanent logo.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, if you know, you know, 3 years, 5 years, until it doesn't work anymore, I mean, I think it's just a. Well, look,
Well,
I don't wanna.
I'm thinking,
we're like 15 to 20, no?
If we like it and it endures and nobody has issues with it, yes,
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is like, more than anything, I just wanna have a cheerful, engaging, appealing face of us to the public, because. The website for the town is nice, but there's nothing about us there that's exciting, and I think that any one of these is more exciting than just generic.
Yeah.
So, you know, white space, so I think that it just helps define us and gets people excited, that's the point, I mean, I
Yeah.
think you should think about when you vote, like, what's gonna get. The public excited to see us or engage with us in any way.
Or
It's our
when they
message.
see, know exactly what it is.
Yeah, please, Sarah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
Sarah.
I just have two questions. One is, are you, when you advertise, do you, because one of them is, you know, the AAC Arts Council, and one of them is Washington Arts, like, is there a particular name that you want associated? Because that was something that I was wondering, like, when I saw those two, they both represent two different names in terms of, you know, one's a shortened version, like Arts Council, and like, so I was just curious if there was a preference in terms of that, or before anyone votes, if there's like a, do you know what I'm asking? I don't know if,
Like, are we definitely the Washington Arts Council is what you're saying?
yeah, do you want the WAC, or do you want just AC, or it doesn't matter?
Right,
Is what I'm
so
at.
are you asking things like so that people know us as the Arts Council or Washington Arts Council?
Right, like what,
Which I think is for this group to decide, right?
I think it's a great question.
Yeah.
Sarah. But a couple things I'll say, and I'm relatively new in the town in terms of organizations, but I can sort of want you guys to pile on. There is the Northwest Connecticut Arts Council, so we don't wanna be just Arts Council, because we're not in for the whole state, and there's already a they do a lot for the area. There's like 25 towns they cover, us one of them, they're the ones who are sponsoring us to apply for being a state cultural district. So I think it's pretty important that Washington, even though it's a clumsy, long name, I mean, it's a wonderful town, that's not criticism,
Yeah.
but that should be part of our name. And then, according to Michelle's research and awareness of town activities, council is the word, and then we are the arts. So I feel like we're kind of stuck with those three words. I mean, and then Arts Council of Washington adds up, and I'd rather be the Washington Arts Council personally. I hear Abdo about WAC, it sounds like, I don't know, World War II group or something like that, but.
And also, when you say Washington, because I tell people I'm from Washington, and they say Washington DC.
Washington State. I
You
know,
know,
it's
you always
awful,
have
I know.
Connecticut has to be somewhere if you're going to put the Arts Council.
I don't think we need
It's
to,
been- No?
No.
because I don't think that we're even broadcasting beyond.
Oh, okay,
Florida
all
or
right.
regional.
County.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, whenever I talk to them, I'm trying the, Arts Council of Washington, like,
Okay, I see what you mean.
I mean, like if we were going on a national campaign for some
Yeah,
reason, but
yeah.
we're not.
I'm thinking big.
Well, just.
Well,
time to change the logo. No, but our beach is Litchfield County.
I also didn't know if, cause I mentioned Washington Arts Council to someone and they said like, oh, the Washington Arts Association, like people like are, you know what I mean? So I also didn't know if, in terms of the logo, if we wanted, you know, if you wanted to, I don't know how, make that clear. I don't know, in the AAC one, does it say Washington at the base of it or anything? I don't have it pulled up in front of me.
The options does.
Well, and also we can swap out what the text is. And I hear you about Washington Arts Association. I mean, like, for instance, I've been active in New York City stuff. Whenever you have a problem with, like, there's a historic house trust of New York City, and there are tons of other specific historic house museums that operate independently and do fundraising independently. Unfortunately, it's just a problem of micro regional things that you're just always gonna have to explain. I don't see
Sure.
adding like 5 more words to your title, which then makes it so clumsy that nobody wants to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's not the same 3 letters like the ambulance association.
And then my other question was, is there a place, like, I don't know if it's on the town website but to see the other logos of not just arts, but like in town, like the Environmental Council and whatever, just to do a comparison to make sure that our like shape isn't like so close to somebody else's. Do you know what I mean? Because as you were saying, like, they're gonna spot it on a tote bag or a t-shirt or something, and so I didn't know if there's somewhere that we could all look at town logos and make sure there's not something visually too similar to something else.
Okay, we can grab the logo from Steve Rock and a few other places.
I know, so I'm familiar with most of them, Steve Rock, Judy Black, Wag,
Ambulance association.
Libby, and I don't think there's but that is an interesting. I know for sustainability, I put all of anybody closely environmentally related all on one banner. Which would be really fun thing to do for the arts.
Yes, it would.
And
Bring
like
together
or
all
one
of
side
our
of a bag and like-
Palaveras, the Red Square, what else we got?
One thing I will say is,
Connecticut Theater Exchange.
Well,
What do you
there's
have?
do you have a logo too?
We do, we have a logo.
Oh, we
Oh,
do.
it's great.
There's nothing preventing, if you're putting it on a tote bag or something like that, to spell out, you know, to have the logo, but to spell out underneath it,
Mhm.
Yes,
what it is.
yes,
And, you know, that, I think that enhances it
yes,
rather than, but you don't have to do that everywhere.
yes.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And then the other thing I will say is I'm really glad that all of the designers' submissions were not figurative in that, like, because I didn't want, you know, artist palette with each color being a different art, you know, like. Because I really wanted to be open-ended, the arts, we've talked about this in other meetings, maybe you weren't there, Sarah, but like, we wanted to be performing arts, we wanted to be figurative arts, we wanted to be dance, etc. So, as you vote, which one do you think represents all the arts the best?
Yeah.
Cool, okay, so we're gonna send that out shortly.
Yep.
Update
That's good.
and review of cultural district work, Karen and I have had a hard time meeting, so there's very little to update, except, was it between now and our last?
Yes, no, I have
So
my
we did-
notes, we had a fantastic meeting.
We had a very good
June
meeting,
29th.
thank
I
you,
have my notes.
so, you can speak more if you want, but we did meet with Steph Burr of the Northwest Connecticut Arts Council. 2 things that are really great to know, in case you had any anxiety, basically, we are guaranteed to become a cultural district art council if you just got all the, you know, I's and T's of doing the application properly. And I thought this was a really great point that she made, like, basically, your application should be how you wanna represent yourself to your town to get them excited about your application.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because you wanna make it available, et cetera. So, so for instance, it is true, even though I read something that misled me, they do want the cultural district to focus on the pedestrian elements. However, you can have an appendix that talks about all the cultural things in other areas of Washington. Like, New Preston, I think, is a really great cultural district. I mean, I've already blabbed to you tonight about the Stone Meeting House, I mean, I mean, that's already a National Historic Registry, I mean, these are real things that are valuable, and they will not make it on the cultural district because it's like 3 miles away. So, and we don't want to go through the process of doing for New Preston and Washington, blah, blah, blah. So, as Karen and I are moving forward, and frankly, what was great about Steph, is that she just, you know, removed a lot of anxiety. One thing that was great to know, though, is that the state takes it seriously enough that when, once you submit it, they will come and they will walk the district. And they do wanna, you know, corroborate what you've written. So that's all good. And, so as Karen and I move forward with the drafts and Michelle and I talk about it, if everybody else seems very, very busy, and I don't wanna detract from all the great things you're doing, but if you wanna be part of this, of course, you're welcome. Something else I'm leaving out?
No, I mean, it was great, yeah, the walkthrough was, I was like, okay, because we're, you know, we were
We're
really
really stressed out.
well, we're really debating, we would love to include the green, right? Well, so we're gonna have to walk somebody, hopefully they wear their walking shoes up you know, up Barnes Road, up to the green to make one
It
district.
just seems crazy to talk only about the depot when our museum and.
Library
Historic
and
all the-
Frederick Hunt.
Yeah.
So we really wanna try to include that, and you know what, I think we will in the application and on the map, and do the walk. And say, you know what, that's just not really walkable, then we'll pare down, you know, it's to get us on the map. And there's nothing that, even if we can't include the green, if we can get the depot declared a cultural district, we just send people up the road.
But you can
But-
have in the appendix, you can.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely,
don't lose
absolutely,
it.
so
I
I,
don't,
so
and it's really up to us, it's really.
it's up to us, so I think we should go for it and we'll see.
There's only an upside.
Yeah,
good.
the other things, you know, there are a few like logistic things, you know, we have to get that letter. She sent us a sample, I haven't had time to look at
She
it.
did, okay,
Oh, no, she sent,
we should talk about, anyway, we'll
so
figure
we
it
have
out.
to get an official letter to the Northwest Arts Council saying, you know, declaring our intention. And we have to hold a community meeting for input and have a public hearing and create a resolution for the town that they have to adopt
And that
at
should be
a,
separate from this meeting, that was not clear to
Is
me.
that before the application?
it's, you have to complete that in order to submit your application.
Can that
It's
be-
one of the hoops you have to jump through.
Can there be part of the town meeting that's for the community that we can be an agenda item? So we don't have a separate. meeting,
Yes,
So that there will be people there.
so and the resolution, so the way it works too is the resolution would be approved by the Board of Selectmen and then it would go to a town meeting.
Oh, I see.
And they often will put 2 or 3 things on an agenda, not too many things.
Yeah.
But I believe the way she said it, I'll have to reread I mean, the way I wrote it here too. I have to reread the specific directions, but that we have to have a public hearing that is not the town meeting to vote on it. So the public hearing is like the input.
What happens if nobody shows up to it? Is that okay?
I would imagine it happens.
It's like when I applied for a visa to become an organist in this country, the application went behind the door in a bathroom, you know? So that at least it was up in a sort of public place, no one could see it. I jest, but I mean, that's my
Well,
point,
here's the thing.
you know,
Very
if no one
easy
shows
to
up.
hold- Because the planning commission does this all the time, they hold a public, and so does zoning. The public hearing is within the meeting. So
Yeah.
we would invite people to an arts council meeting, this would be, we would adjourn to a public hearing, or we would open with the public hearing and adjourn to
Adjourn
an
to our
arts
meeting.
council.
I see,
So at least we're here,
yeah,
and we
Yeah,
would
right.
invite friends,
yeah,
you know, and we would try to get at least a selectman or 2 there, and.
sure,
And send out an invitation to all
And
the
I-
arts organizations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we would try to make sure staff was there to answer questions, because
Right.
people say, why bother do this, what's the benefit? You know,
Okay.
the regular questions, so,
I'm just thinking from the arts council point of view, or rather from, you know, the point of, I mean, whoever is asking us to have this meeting, if there's sort of criteria of how many people need to attend, how many
I
votes.
do not read that,
I
you
see.
just have to, but they're usually for a public hearing, there are posting requirements.
I see,
And I've done this for housing
I
and
see.
stuff, so it
so
would,
it's the same kind of thing.
like, it would be publicly noticed at least 2 weeks in advance and yeah. So I'm not stressed about that.
Okay,
We can do that, I've done it. It's just a hoop that I just don't want you to get frustrated, that this timeline, you know, you have to notice
My goal is to
it,
get
you-
it, is to get it submitted by the end of the year. I mean, it's not
And-
changing any of our
yeah.
activities.
And we talked about this, like at the public hearing. We should have our ducks in a row, we'll have a PowerPoint or whatever, and we'll have completed our map and our inventory and our narrative that explains why this is good for the town, like. You know, so that we're basically, all the stuff that we would need for the application, we would have completed, and so that we can present that to the community. Saying this is what we're doing, and this is why it's good for the town, and then we get public comment. And then we incorporate any of that comment, you know, and make adjustments if we need. And carry on with the resolution.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's called bureaucracy.
yeah,
It
involvement, you can call it what you want, I'm gonna be
Can't
half
believe
full on this
it.
one. Glass half full. on
I
this
can't
one.
believe it.
It's the opportunity for the community
We-
to come together.
We do
under
things
the umbrella
differently in
of the
Latin
Yeah,
America.
It's true.
But that's a dictatorship.
Done. We liked it, you're happy,
But.
done, you know.
But
We're
given
trying to
everything,
avoid
I
that
do think
here.
it's realistic that by August and maybe summer slowdown, maybe by September, we should have everything done. And then, no, our side, like the stuff we have to generate. And then cause it's not that big a town, there's not that much to write about. And we can like share the narrative, whatever, like, and then by September, or maybe latest October, we will go through the public parts. So, but by year ends, I think it's realistic, we can get
It's
this submitted by year end.
We don't probably want to walk the people from the state up during the winter, but, you know, in the dark. Let's just be mindful. of it.
The bears.
Bears, I know
The bears.
there's no one who is supposed to.
Okay, oh my gosh, it is 8:09 and Simon's gotta go, okay.
Okay,
Thank you, everyone.
Well, maybe then we'll do, we'll start to
I'll be-
brainstorm about the photography exhibit names, and we can do that also by, votes.
other thing was I was gonna say.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Simon.
Simon. Yes,
We can be done by 8:50.
because
So
we already kind of talked about this in our board.
I do feel strongly that having some kind of interesting name for this photography exhibit and have something going on. Will make.
Tell me, so the thoughts on the Arts Council opening night event, October sixth, so tell me a little bit about what that will be.
So I
You know,
okay, so maybe you'll work part of this meeting, so you know about Explore Washington, they did a seasonal photo
Yep.
contest. Okay, so there are gonna be easels in this space. And on that Friday of, whatever it is, Columbus Day weekend.
Yep.
There's gonna be a little reception here.
Okay.
And so, I don't know, maybe we'll invite some of the winners to talk about photography, or, I don't know, there'll be some program,
Okay.
I'd say max half
Great.
hour.
Great, yep.
Max, like, cause I'm thinking like 3 winners or 4 season winners, like 3 minutes each. What, and then a little intro, thanks, whatever. Say it's a half hour programming, question and answers, 40 minutes,
Excellent.
but people in there hanging out. But I think it's important to, you know, have something fun.
Yeah.
About the title that would make people wanna come, I'm open to, I don't know, I mean, maybe there's more things, I mean. Abdo, Kent, like, there could be something interesting, like maybe there's a local poet who talks about seasons in Washington. Fran, that could read for 10 minutes or
Well,
something.
Karen Selk is the poet laureate.
No, she is the poet laureate of our town.
Okay, well, so
Um,
perfect.
I'm just pulling up the announcement that has been running in the selectmen's email and on social media. So you can see that I was trying to shrink it so it would fit, but it's like, oh, there we go, that's not bad. It's called Washington, you know, it's been called Washington Through the Seasons. As the photo contest, this is the entry form. There are our winners for the fall. Stunning,
Ooh.
stunning, right?
Very stunning.
Hello,
Winter ones were chosen, it went in their newsletter, I think they just don't have it posted here. I don't remember if I've seen the spring ones yet, I have to look at that, but anyway, so, you know, worst case scenario is we go with
I
Washington
agree.
through the seasons.
Yeah, and I think that it would be great to have Karen to read maybe I think her poems are short. Wouldn't it be great to have her read one poem for each season?
Yeah, and Davine Verstandig was the previous.
She was their
poet
previous
laureate.
poet.
Okay, great, so maybe like they
So
do
just
two
for the-
seasons and 2 seasons. Okay, Davi.
Davine, Davyne,
Okay, and what's her last? name?
Verstandig, Verstandig. I'll
Okay.
send you her
Okay.
email.
So, I think that'd be very cool.
Yeah, some poetry, cool.
So anyway, anybody have any bright ideas? I mean, watching the seasons.
It's fine, and if you can think
And
of
it's what
something
people already
better.
know.
And
I
it's
mean,
consistent,
It's consistent.
I think consistency is fine. Let's just, all in favor?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright,
Great.
let's not.
Let's make that great. Okay, and then,
Alright,
Abdo, next weekend is the party.
Yes,
Do you wanna join me on Saturday to hand out things about the party, or are you already sold out?
what happens is this Saturday. I'm part of an exhibition of my photography at WA from
Okay.
10 to 4.
Okay?
So I'm going to be busy. I was planning on doing it on Saturday.
Well, did you give a bunch of postcards or whatever to Michelle? Can you do that?
Definitely, I will get them for you.
so I'm leaving the state tomorrow,
Okay, but
but I printed, I'm gonna put it in the board, which is stored in the closet, and I was gonna put it out on the porch.
okay,
So it's gonna be out there,
I'll stick it to
Okay,
the
great.
pocket that you have
Okay.
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
definitely.
Is there anybody else from WA who's helping with the party that can hang with me? Because I will say that
Yes.
one person, no matter who it is, I will not say it's just me feeling like a loser, but it's really sad. You need
The
a buddy.
times I've done it
I
twice,
I
and
think
it's
it's
always
always fun.
fun when there's somebody.
So you have to
Yeah.
have a buddy.
Yeah,
Talking Saturday morning?
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
I know.
this month is
I know
brutal
it's
because.
problematic for a lot of people, and by the way, I'm fine with doing it for an hour and a half. I'm not like
Yeah.
trying to make this a death, Bhutan march.
yeah.
But, is there anybody else from WA that would? be
Let me-
psyched
let
to
me
for you
find
in half
out.
an hour?
Yeah.
I think it would be
Let me
great.
find out.
And by the way, it's interesting for the public to see different people at the booth. So like,
Yeah,
and I want to, I mean, I've been telling Denise,
Yeah.
Steve Rock, they're already doing their own table, but going forward, like, send other people. They're doing a table because, Five Janes is selling t-shirts to benefit them, so so she, it's totally fine. She told me like, I put my own sandwich board out, I don't want 2 sandwich boards. And I'm doing this push with, she's ordered some merchandise that is specifically for Steve Rock.
yeah, they're really cool.
So I highly recommend her t-shirts, I bought them.
Yeah, me too.
But they're already doing their thing, but bottom line is like, seeing new faces makes the whole thing come to life for other people. So
Yeah.
well, let me, who's going to be doing the sandwich board this week?
I think I'm gonna be doing it.
Okay, so
But I'm not
why
gonna do
don't
it
I,
alone this week. I did last week. it was really-
after, so,
I like that stick.
so what time will you be there?
I'll
11,
coordinate with
12?
somebody. I mean, I'm thinking like the 10 to 11:30 is kind of a sweet spot. I'd even go longer if the person was wanting.
Okay, because-
The farmer's market is from 9:30 to 12:30.
Right,
So,
I was thinking, once I set up, I can walk over with cards and stay with you for 1 hour or something like. Oh, don't worry, yeah. I'll be colorful.
Super
Wait.
feminine.
How old are you for that?
Wait till you see my hat for the event.
I
Oh.
can't wait. I cannot wait.
I just tried it today. I have, Laura Daly?
Yes,
Yeah.
she's what is that? What do you call somebody who makes hats? She's
A
totally-
millionaire.
Yes, she's a
Yeah,
milliner.
yeah,
How
yeah,
great.
she's doing it for me. She did,
Super jealous.
yeah.
That's fantastic.
Now, I have, is this the time for suggestions or,
Of what?
okay. I remember I mentioned Imadonari.
Yes, I
Okay.
looked it up online so I could spell it in the minutes.
Isn't it fabulous?
Yeah,
What is this?
Okay,
this is the, in the minute. It's like street art.
Yes.
They do it in Santa Barbara, but it's
You
an
mean like chalk art?
Italian.
yes,
Card.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
I think it's a great idea.
We can do it all through town.
Okay,
you know, and going up and down and all that. And my other idea, I had a dream, is to, at some point, once, maybe not next year, or maybe next year, to kind of place art through the town in different areas.
Okay,
And we advertise it like, find the art that you like and buy it and purchase it. If you find the art in town and you like it, you can purchase it. So we'll have it in the garden, you know, we'll have it at the hickory stick, you know, in one section that people say, oh, why is that there, you know? And we have it all through town.
heart attacks.
Yeah, everywhere. And it's this way we involve the community in many ways, you know,
Yeah.
and they are people, you know, and that could be something. for-
Well, I think that's a really good idea, and I know that WAD did this previously, and.
They did?
They did, you know, a sculpture throughout the.
Oh,
they
the
did that
sculpture
sculpture
thing.
one,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I
that was,
brought this, cause I picked it up, it was last year, but it was the Hingham Arts Walk. And it was,
oh,
they did all the businesses, everybody like hosted an artist, which Marty's does, shooting, like a lot of our restaurants and shops do, but like everybody did. Like Fran would have a few, like out on the easels and maybe on the wall, you don't have a lot of wall space, but it's all books. But you would have like a
Yeah.
few easels out, and for one weekend,
yeah,
oh, this was one day, or Sunday, from 12 to 4. You know, they did a map, they had a walk, and everybody had art. And you
Yeah.
promote the whole thing, you know, you promote that everybody's
but
gonna have art, which I thought was cool.
my idea is not to tell them where it is.
Oh, make them look
Oh,
for
I
it.
got a scout.
Yes. Find the
Oh.
art, and if you like it, you can purchase it.
Interesting, okay,
You know, sort of make it more interesting. Look
just
through
like
the art.
Where's Waldo,
You're
right?
going,
Cause the businesses are doing Where's Waldo right now.
yeah,
That's cool, that's an interesting take on it, it's like kind of the same idea, except for you don't tell them what it is.
yeah. We don't tell people where it is, so that people get curious about. They'll go to the hickory
What's-
stick and they start looking, is there a piece of art here, you know? And so they'll go to different places in town. Even the Washington Supply, they will have
Yeah.
one piece of
So you
art.
can include New Preston.
Maybe a Christmas.
Yeah.
after-
Maybe, in terms of like, you could buy it, like, maybe when you are viewing the art, there's like a little thing that it says it can be purchased, but I think if the like tagline is like that you can buy, that'll turn people off from looking at it, cause they'll go, well, I don't wanna buy it. Like, but if you make it like like they were saying, like a Where's Waldo, like exploring it for the sake of exploring it, but then have the option when you're viewing each thing, that there is a little thing that this artist and it is for sale, then it
Yeah.
is more, it's more inclusive, because I can't afford people's art in
No, no.
Washington. So I'm just saying, in terms of how you market it, I would just suggest that.
I like that.
Yeah, we're not pressing people into buying the art, you know,
Right.
but it's just like a sophisticated game for the town, and we will be the organizer for it.
Right.
And basically any shop that wants more foot traffic can participate, and they can find it at the different.
Yes.
In Hudson, they would always, every Christmas, most people have very big windows, and for winter walk, like they'd have tango dancers or musicians, whatever, in their windows. And window displays, and they would have a contest about the window displays, etc. So, anyway, I would plant that seed, we can talk about this in future events.
That's
But
what I mean, yeah, so we have to
But I think
email
it's
and
good. Christmas, maybe it's one more
Yeah.
thing for the new year, I don't know if we have time, but we can think about it.
Hmm.
Oh, that brings us up to August. The next event, the next meeting would be on the second Thursday of August, would bring us to August 10th. Are people, traveling too much in August? I mean, I don't wanna have a meeting if nobody can come, I mean, we can send out a doodle about this, but. We could do it all on Zoom if people prefer.
It's too hot to travel. I'm not going anywhere. I mean, the whole country's burning.
Could we possibly do the week after? I mean, it's fine if everyone else, that's a family birthday day, so I can't do August 10th. I didn't know if the following week.
All the Thursdays in August and see which one works for people. And then go with the majority. Is there a problem for you, Michelle?
I have a standing third day.
So it could not be,
We can always move it if we need to. It's,
so it could be.
it's, you know, it's
24.
posted for the 10th.
And that's
And
fine, I'm not as important as others, so that's,
I mean.
Yeah.
It's nice that the council is as large as it is, because I feel like a meeting
It could be
with 5 or
productive.
6 is still very productive, you know. Not everybody can make every meeting in, but there's still great
Moving things
conversation.
forward.
Yeah, so I'm here in
you
August.
just keep it on the 10th then. Cause that's the schedule you've been keeping.
Perfect.
And we'll just try to keep moving forward. Isn't that good? We got a lot done.
Yeah.
Answered a lot of questions.
Anybody wanna add anything before we wrap? Sarah? Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad the tech worked this time.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So
Yeah, nice, at 8:24, second?
Second.
All right,
Put it on the stage.
we're all adjourned. Alrighty, well, good to see you, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
All right, see you.
Good night.
different topic, Michelle. but
Yes.
I'm fine with, not having an EDC meeting in July.
That was, I've been getting the email, everyone